the back of a truly outstanding night at Sandown on Friday night. We have got so much to talk about in our final edition of Thrill of the Chase for 2020. Good morning and welcome. Great to have your company. Great to have our panel assembled as well. We've got a number of special guests across the show today, but I start with Molly Haynes from Greyhound Racing Victoria. Molly, the world's greatest greyhound race delivered in a big way on Friday.
Oh, it sure did. Look, there was tears. There was absolutely everything on Friday night. It was so good to be there, and I felt like we were really a part of the action because we were with only, 10 or so metres from it, if my maths is correct. So it was great to be there and great to, I suppose, wrap up a really good month of racing.
James Vandermaat had the privilege and the honour of calling the 2020 Melbourne Cup and the bold Trease and the entire night. James, congratulations on the call and what a result we had.
Yeah, it was an enormous result, and congrats to Lucky Carabit Sarkos. A great training effort with this greyhound hardstyle Rico. I must say, I really enjoyed this Melbourne Cup. Last year calling it, I was so nervous just trying to get that first Melbourne Cup out of the way. But this year with hardstyle Rico crossing at the first corner, creating a bit of space, I could sit back and enjoy the call a little bit more. But it was a great honour, a great thrill to be a part of it once again.
Coming up today on the show, as I mentioned, a number of special guests. We'll be crossing out to Gippsland. Rob Popplestone, part of our team today, has got a number of guests joining him. Stephen Bruce White, Peter Duncan, the chair of Greyhound Racing Victoria. Another edition of Molly's Lounge. We've got Trent Langscale from TAB joining us. And we'll start to take a look at what's coming up next on a very busy greyhound racing calendar. But let's jump straight into the agenda. Pretty obvious where we're going to start for our agenda today. And that was the 2020 Melbourne Cup on Friday night at Sandown Park. And hardstyle Rico, this was a dominant performance.
It was enormous, wasn't it? He began beautifully. It was a surprise, Molly, because he crossed Simon Told Helen. And I think I said it post-race. He did what Simon Told Helen does to everybody else and has done for the last 12 months. I won't give away too much because there's a big chance the analyser could be Melbourne Cup bound.
Absolutely. Look, I just think it was phenomenal. And what I loved the most is while I was also trying to watch the race, I was listening to Lucky Azzy. He was screaming and jumping up and down. We didn't know what was going on behind the boxes. So it was, I don't know, it was just special to be a part of.
And you mentioned Lucky Carabit Sarkos. The emotion on Friday night, straight after the race as well. In an ideal world, there's Lucky. That was after on the first bend. So hardstyle Rico hits the front and we could hear him in the background going, yes. He knew from a long way out.
Well, I think he said post-race too that he knew he had the fastest greyhound in the race. So once he led, they weren't going to run him down. And that was beautiful, the embrace of two best mates, Lucky and his greyhound hardstyle Rico. And it was good for Lucky too, obviously with a few owners and a few people being able to get on track. Look at him, he was absolutely delighted. And yeah, look, his brother was there. His brothers had Group 1 success with the greyhound by the name of Black Mumbo. And it was an emotional night, not just for the Melbourne Cup, but for the bold Trees as well. And they lost their dad about 7 years ago. He was right into the greyhounds as well. So credit to Lucky and the whole family.
Let's have a look at what Lucky Carabit Sarkos had to say shortly after the race. It took us a little while to get a hold of him. He obviously wanted to be near his greyhound and some of his closest friends, but when we eventually got him, here's what he had to say.
You have been with this dog from the start. I think I know how it feels, but describe it, Lucky.
Oh, mate, I don't think you do know how it feels, mate. But if you do, then yeah, we're pretty jelly at the moment. Geez, what an experience, mate. This. Yeah, I'm speechless, mate. This is the greatest race to be in, and to have the dog win it and win it in track record time, mate. It speaks for itself. Hardstyle Rico is just a great dog. He's just a great dog, guys.
That was from our Friday night coverage. I don't think we know how it feels either. I think Lucky told Jason he had no idea how it felt. What does this mean, though, for Lucky Carabit Sarkos? You, before the race, James, said that it's the race that changes people's lives. How does his life change now?
Oh, I think it 100% does. Not just financially, but that is climbing the biggest mountain in greyhound racing to try and win a Melbourne Cup. And when I went back through the recent winners of the race, I looked My Redeemer, Whiskey Right, Aston DB, Ando's Mac, Dinah Villa, Black Magic Opal, Dynatron there. It's just a race that, for some reason, there's some greatness about the Melbourne Cup that you have to be a champion to win it. And I feel now that hardstyle Rico's elevated to that level and therefore he's going to have a stud career. So it's not just the financial side, which, look, he's probably now at least $1 million greyhound, maybe worth more. So it's life-changing financially. It's life-changing to have won the race that every single greyhound person wants to win.
They're big numbers, Molly, aren't they? When we talk about $1 million greyhounds, we've only got 7, I think, off the top of my head in Australia right now.
Absolutely. Taking home that $435,000 would have been phenomenal. But at the same time, it's great for Lucky. As a trainer himself, I don't think that he's going to have any shortage of people wanting to offer him dogs to train. I think that's a really, really big bonus when it comes to being a young greyhound trainer with the family as well.
Let's jump into the bold Trease. We'll talk more about your call of the race a bit later on, James. But this was the entree, and what a delightful entree it was. The bold Trease over 715 metres. Houdini Boy, almost the even money favourite going in. But take a look here at Manila Knight wearing the pink rug.
Oh, it was a monster effort here, and I think, you know, there wasn't much money, I believe, for Manila Knight heading into this race. Although this greyhound was a track record holder at Shepparton over the 650, there were question marks as to whether this dog could back up over 700 again, and I still think there are a couple of knockers on Houdini Boy, which I think was really unfair, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
This is a dog who is, second start back from a bit of time off as well, and I think it was a great effort here.
And what we don't realise when you just have a look at the race, you actually see there Manila Knight rolls 2 or 3 away from the rail. If Houdini Boy could have just waited a shade more, if he had had a jockey on his back, he may well have waited for that run to open on the inside. Unfortunately for him, he tried to push around the outside, tried to get around Manila Knight. Right at the point he's starting to roll off into that corner. But a real credit, that was his second go over the 700 metres. He's now a Group 1 winner. I mean, we spoke of how good Houdini Boy is going to be. Manila Knight could be as well the next big thing. But I agree with you. I think harsh to knock Houdini Boy. I thought he was outstanding.
Absolutely, and we're talking about a huge race here, so that was a big performance. 7 of 9 now out of box 8, Manila Knight. So for punters going forward, if you see Manila Knight draw the pink, get on board, Molly.
Absolutely. And what I also love, we spoke about the Omen bet. Mario and Lucky are very, very good friends. And we said just before, I think, the Melbourne Cup, that it'd be the biggest Omen bet there if Lucky was to take it out. A bit of a friendship double for the night, so it was great to see.
It was a very, very hot night on Friday night at Sandown. We all sweated through the clothes that we had on. Here's Manila Knight getting a bit of a wash after the race, Molly. It was a fast track. There were fast times, and well, he certainly earns this little wash.
Oh, without a doubt. Look, I just don't think we can underestimate the position that we were in to be there. And we were hearing them talking after the race. We're hearing them and seeing them embrace their greyhounds firsthand. And it was just so, so special to see how that unfolded. And it made me a little bit jealous. I loved being a part of that side of it back when I was handling the dogs. And it was just so, so good to see.
It certainly was. So the Analyzer is always good to see. Let's get to an early edition today of the Analyzer with James van der Mark.
Yes, exciting. I was so keen to get the Analyzer underway last week. I actually got to the TV a little bit early. I think I'm on time. Am I on time this week?
Are.
I'm on time. That's okay. What I'm going to take a look at is the greatest greyhound race in the world. It was the Melbourne Cup, and what I've decided to dissect is how Hardstyle Rico won the Melbourne Cup. So let's bring it up now. First, we'll start off with a slow-mo replay. Hardstyle Rico over here from box number 5. What he does, he begins well, but he actually cuts up the track just a shade. Now, luckily for he and Tommy Shelby don't come together, but what that did was create so much space to the inside. Coming to this first corner, he crosses Simon Told Helen, he crosses Zipping Sullivan. This is right here where he won the Melbourne Cup. Now, let's take a look at normal speed. He began beautifully. As we can see, he gets that room. Now, what I'm wanting to do is stop right here. This is the point he wins the Melbourne Cup. I know we've got 400 metres to go, but this is the point. We let the slow-mo roll. He comes across, does what Simon Told Helen's done to everybody else for 12 months, crosses Zipping Sullivan, and he rips away down the back straight. And this is the point I reckon Lucky Carabit Sarkos would have gone absolutely bananas because he knew he was going to win the Melbourne Cup, and as he turned for home, he's racing into greatness, this greyhound. Just a wonderful, wonderful performance. There he is, Lucky Carabit Sarkos, incredible training effort. And that greyhound Hardstyle Rico on Friday night, he raced into the history books, and Jack, he raced into greatness.
He certainly did, and you're spot on. And that's what we were talking earlier about, the point where we heard Lucky from our broadcast position start screaming. It was exactly as you just showed there on that first corner, because he knew.
The analyser's never wrong, so...
Apparently not. Well done, James. Another ripping edition of the always correct Analyzer. Let's turn our attention to what's coming up next. We'll go back to Sandown a little bit more and all of the other races from Friday night. But up next, it's the Gippsland Festival of Racing that takes centre stage on the Victorian Greyhound Racing calendar. Rob Popplestone is out there for us this morning in Gippsland. Rob, it's a very good morning to you.
Well, what an exciting time of the year it is. A really exciting 2 months ahead of us. And what a great way to launch the Gippsland Festival of Racing here at the Blue Gables Vineyard, just outside Maffra. And it's one of those towns that are really important to greyhound racing because they support the sport that we love so well during the course of the year. What a year it's been. On the back of bushfires, especially here in Gippsland at the end of last year and early in this year, we followed up with COVID. Can you believe it? So right now, we're hoping that you can support us, that is the people of Victoria, and in fact, from all around Australia, because we've got 3 great events coming up, haven't we? The Sale Cup, which is on Boxing Day, put that down in the diary. It's a really terrific event. And during the course of that event, of course, you can come to a place here like this, the Blue Gables Vineyard, as I say, just outside Maffra, but there's so many spots that you could visit. The Warragul Cup too, January the 16th, great event. But maybe just venture outside Warragul, have a look at Nuji and support the sport and support the community. And then of course in February the 6th, the Cranbourne Cup. If you're on your way to Phillip Island or maybe even down South Gippsland, then drop off and support the community of Cranbourne as well. 3 great events. It's been an exciting year of greyhound racing. We've really appreciated everyone's support. But right now, in what is a really exciting and important time for the sport, we look to see you on Boxing Day for Sale Cup, on January the 16th for Warragul Cup, and of course on February the 6th for the Cranbourne Cup.
Thank you, Rob. What a beautiful setting that is too. Molly, you want to have another wedding? You could definitely go out there. That looks outstanding.
Absolutely. I don't think my husband would approve of another wedding or our bank account, to tell you the truth either. So, no, it was absolutely beautiful out there. And look, Sale Cup has to be my favourite country cup when it comes, like around the country circuit. It is a massive day. There are generally so many people. I mean, it's going to be a little bit different this year.
Yeah.
But so many people, and just the country atmosphere, I love it.
I think Sale are on the front foot in the sense that you can jump on their website and actually book a place, I'm pretty sure, for the Sale Cup, because they will have max capacity that they're allowed to have at that time. And you're spot on. It is the best country cup. You're on top of the greyhounds as they turn for home there at Sale. It is an amazing facility and it's just an exciting race. It's the only Group 1 provincial cup as well, which is exciting as well.
We've got plenty more to come from Rob. He'll join us a little bit later on. He's got a couple of special guests. Molly's got a special guest in Molly's Lounge, and we'll continue to take a look at all of the great races from Friday night at Sandown. You're watching Thrill of the Chase. Stay with us, plenty more to come. So much of the emotion and so much of the colour of the biggest night on the calendar, Friday night at Sandown Park, and that was Lucky Carabit, Sarkos and Hardstyle Rico winning the 2020 Melbourne Cup. And Molly, there were so many other great stories. We're going to get to some of the other races in just a moment, but the Tommy Shelby story from WA coming over, running, finishing top 3 is another really good one.
Absolutely. So, like we mentioned in the show, there was 5% of all prize money of Tommy Shelby's going to Movember. So that means by running third, $3,250 is donated to Movember on behalf of Tommy Shelby. What an amazing little effort. Also, can I say, the vision that we just saw was impeccable, but I reckon we made the atmosphere on Friday night. Because so? With no crowd.
Can I actually just add that? I felt like there was atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was just because it was such a great race on paper. Yeah. Because I have called a few of the feature races leading up to the Melbourne Cup, and you could tell there was no crowd. But with this Melbourne Cup, it felt like there was almost a full house. And I don't know if that was you being there, Molly, or you, Jack. I'm not sure.
Certainly wasn't me. I know that for certain. Let's go to some of the other races from Friday night, because there were some brilliant stories. Obviously, the Melbourne Cup and the Bold Trease, the 2 main feature races. But we'll start with the maiden final, the Vic Breeders' Series maiden final. This is a race where we generally get a bit of a guide for what's coming up for the future. And She's So Kind ran so well.
Yeah, look, it was a bit of a surprise, this one. Owned by Dave Burnett, but not trained trained by Dave Burnett, so he did land a feature race on the night. It just wasn't the race he was after. Thought the Red was a pretty good run, Major Sacrifice. I think he's just one to keep an eye on. That litter, McCooley's Lad and others, they're very, very good. But look, she's so kind, got the room to move, Molly, and was too good, and just an improving type.
Absolutely, and I know the Dailies also have a big opinion of Shimmer Jake as well. I think this greyhound came, I think he was in box 7 and finishing second. So yeah, I love watching these maiden races because you see the stars. People aren't going to hold off average dogs to run on Melbourne Cup night, and I think that's when you know that you've got something special in these heats anyway.
The Provincial Plate was one of my favourite runs of the night. If you take a look here at the performance of Shamrock Boy, and James, you can talk us through it. Look for the emergency, roared through the field, absolutely dominated.
Well, I was on radio through the week and I tipped him as the best bet of the meeting at Horsham, and he ran 4th. And that is 3 days in greyhound racing, how things can turn around. He powered to the front there. Pappy Go Fast was really good running second, but you're spot on. He surged away. Credit to Greg Schofield as well, who prepares the greyhounds. He spent a fair amount of coin purchasing a kennel of greyhounds at the moment. He spent a fair bit, and that's a start of, I think, reward for return and reward for effort with Shamrock Boy. He's also got a greyhound racing today, Secrets Untold, who's got a big motor. Similar type of greyhound, having a run at Hillsville, which might be a bit short, but I think if you follow his kennel, I think he could be in for some good success.
And the idea behind the Provincial Plate too is greyhounds who are very well rehearsed around the country, and they do get that opportunity to come and perform on the bigger stage. They may not be Melbourne Cup contenders, but they can perform on the biggest stage there. I also think that was Shamrock Boy's first city win as well. So first city win on Melbourne Cup night, massive. And
then there was also the Sir John Dillon Memorial, which was not long after we finished up with the Melbourne Cup. And Webleck Ace is a very, very consistent type. This is win number 19 from 48 starts. He's always around the mark.
Yeah, look, I gave the 8 a sneaky chance after the Melbourne Cup because Mapunga Maggie was 100 to 1 in this race, and she only got beaten 4.5 lengths by Hardstyle Rico last week. Her form was outstanding, but here were the big boys. Taking the lead, Webleck Ace, Christo Bale powering. I think I said in the call, he just pinned the ears back, didn't he, Webleck Ace? He wanted to win, and that's why he's been such a good dog.
But he's just been everywhere, Webleck Ace, and you know he's going to be powering to the line. You know he's got that strength and that determination, which is so important. I really hope we get to see him Sale Cup time. I really, really do. Same with Christo Bale. A couple of those dogs, I do feel like we will see them in the Sale Cup series.
So there's a couple of the big winners from the night. James, this time last year you gave us on the show after the Melbourne Cup the little nugget that was Simon Told Helen, and you've proved to be absolutely spot on here. Have you got one to take away from Friday night?
Yeah, without being too humble, look, the analyser is normally 99% correct.
Can we also say James teed us up to say this?
Yeah, he said, item number 51, ask me about Simon Told Helen.
The producer was all for it as well because he knows when he can see something special, and last year it was special. This year I think we've got one music event. Look, I'm not suggesting it's going to be Simon Told Helen, but I am suggesting this is a greyhound moving forward that is going to be really good. What I'm hoping from music event is he can show his speed that he has early in his career. 4.97 to the Meadows to win a race there, and then the strength he showed on Friday night running down Short Pork. If he can complete that package, he is easily capable of being a Group 1, Group 2 winner.
Absolutely. I would also really like to, I know we don't necessarily agree on this, but I would like to see him around the Country Cup circuit as well. You know, your Ballarat Cups and things like that. Like early stages, he was just unstoppable out of the boxes, and although he's not as reliable at box rise at the moment, I still think you need to be taking him around the country and picking up those potential Country Cups.
I must say, when they turned for home, I thought as a race caller I'd made a mistake because Short Pork was in front, and I said, music event going to Short Pork, and I might have been a bit premature, and I was sort of thinking he's not going to run Short Pork down. Like I'm calling this wrong, but he did, and he was finishing so fast. So I think a lot of punters thought Short Pork was the best bet of the night, and I think rightfully so. And music event was just too good from behind. Very, very big win. Statement run.
There was a flood of money for Short Pork before that race as well. So music event, it was this time last year James gave us Simon Told Helen. Put music event in your black book for the future as well. We'll continue to take a look at what's coming up in Gippsland. More from Rob Popplestone in just a moment. And Molly's Lounge, not too far away as well.
Ready to go. Away and racing, and Simon Told Helen began okay. Hardstyle Rico won the start. and he's looking to cross, and cross he does. Hardstyle Rico led them clearly. Put 3 on Zipping Sullivan, then Simon Told Helen, Tommy Shelby. 3 lengths away, Tough Tears, Tick Along Talk, then Shimmer Shine, and seeing them all, Lucy's Milo, but Hardstyle Rico stretches them out, led it 4 lengths in the Melbourne Cup to Simon Told Helen, and then Tommy Shelby, but it is all Hardstyle Rico, and he is going to absolutely bolt the Melbourne Cup in. Hardstyle Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen, third Tommy Shelby, and then Tick Along Talk, followed by Tough Tears. Well back at the end, Zipping Sullivan, Lucy's Milo and Shimmer Shine. Look at that run, 28.91 to Hardstyle Rico.
Oh, there he is, the very best in the business. I don't even think that you knew that we had that camera going on Friday night.
I knew the camera was there, but I thought our great producer would turn it off for the Melbourne Cup. No, look, it's funny to watch back, and it's quite uncomfortable to watch back when you do see, because I find myself sometimes when I'm broadcasting, I'll bounce around and I'll do the weirdest stuff, and I think sometimes the camera people who are filming for the racing think, gee, what is this guy doing? But I do try and immerse myself in the actual race call itself, and you do try and, you know, I suppose go with the trend of the race. And yeah, look, it was nice, it was exciting, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to call 2 Melbourne Cups. To call one was amazing, and then to come back the year later and call again, it's been an honour.
Was part of that emotion because, let's be honest, in the strange and weird year that we've had, there was a point where you couldn't help but think, I don't even know if we'll have a Melbourne Cup at this stage.
I think so, and I've been really big too on as a race caller, just trying to do justice for the race itself. Like, as a kid, me and my dad, we used to go to my uncle's place and we'd read the Greyhound paper. That was nearly every Thursday night. I think it used to be Thursday night, the final back then, and I used to hone into his little radio, which was behind the couch, and I'd crank it up loud so I could listen to the Melbourne Cup. And for me, like, it was a dream just to be a part of the Melbourne Cup, and then to now be race calling the Melbourne Cup. It feels a little bit surreal. I pinched myself. I don't know how it happened. I don't know. I thank everybody who made it happen. But yeah, it's just a complete honour. And for Lucky Carabit Sarkos, a life-changing moment. And I think last week when we had the box draw, you could see the disappointment when he drew box 5. Yep. Like, he was, and Bonington was trying to have a laugh about it, but that was a moment that Lucky thought, well, I've just lost my dream. Yep. And then for him to come out some 6 days later and turn it completely around and win the Melbourne Cup, it was extraordinary, and it was probably the greatest Melbourne Cup win of all time. Yeah,
it's a very, very good run, a track record, and one that we'll remember, and part of we'll remember it is because of your brilliant call, James. So well done to you, congratulations. Let's get back to Gippsland. Rob Popplestone is back with us, and he has got an extremely special and distinguished guest, Rob.
Thanks for that. Well, I'm with GRV Chair in Peter Duncan, who's done such a remarkable job over the last 6 months. There's no question about that. It's really an exciting time to get behind the Gippsland region, Peter.
Oh, absolutely. We've done such a great job through COVID, and now we're rolling into the Gippsland Carnival. We've been doing this for 4 years, and this is our 5th year now, and it starts obviously at Boxing Day at Sale, which is a cracking day. If you can get down there, get down there. But yeah, really excited. And then we go to Warragul Cup and then the Cranbourne Cup. So we're rolling again with the festival, and it'll be awesome. Yeah, this region's got so much to offer, and some of these wines are just examples of that, which we haven't opened just yet, but that may happen shortly. But it's not all about the dogs, is it? It's not all about the dogs. There's so much more behind the sport that makes it tick. Yeah, absolutely. We've got over 2,000 participants that live and work in the Latrobe and Gippsland region, and they're doing a job 24/7, 7 days a week. It's not easy to be a trainer, as we know, and they are dedicated to their dogs and love the dogs. And we met Seneki before, and he's just beautiful. Got kisses, which I was happy about. But no, then they're passionate, like we all are, about greyhound racing, so it's just phenomenal. So we mentioned the Sale Cup, which is on Boxing Day, obviously. Any greyhounds in particular you're looking forward to? I'd like to see Houdini Boy. Yeah. I'd like to see Manila Knight come down, and obviously my old favourite Batman, Tornado Tears. Hopefully he'll come down for that as well. So it'd be a cracking field if we can get those types of dogs down here. Some exciting dogs, and they're in probably career best form at the moment. Really exciting to watch. We've got a couple of brothers from Bryagalong too that have. That have hit centre stage and been exciting as well. Yeah, Maddie Clark with Catch the Thief and Playlist, and obviously they went for a campaign up in New South Wales, and Playlist, brought it home for the Vics when everyone was kicking a Vic, mind you. And we're really proud of him and his dogs, and they are beautiful people as well, Maddie and Bianca, so hello to them, and yeah, I'd love to see them get around as well. Yeah, so we've got Sale Cup on Boxing Day, we've got obviously the Warragul Cup on January the 16th and Cranbourne Cup on February the 6th, and all three, as we mentioned, are just
just great events, and it's all about getting the community together, which I know GRV are very supportive of.
Oh, absolutely. And this industry is all about community, and regional Victoria is big for us because most of our trainers live and work in regional Victoria. And so it's about putting money back into the community as well, and particularly post-COVID. We think that's really important, that we keep the Cups going, and hopefully we'll have people at the track, which would be really good. So fingers crossed that we'll get a lot of big crowds at that time, because it is in the new year, so hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. Look, everything's been planned to the minute. It really is an exciting couple of months ahead, and it's all part of the Gippsland Festival of Racing.
Rob, thank you very much. And they just continue to find these beautiful locations to do the crosses from this morning. Speaking of the Gippsland region, we spoke about 2020 and how much of a challenging year it's been worldwide. We shouldn't forget in Victoria that the year started with devastating and tragic bushfires in the Gippsland region. And here's an emotional example and an emotional story of how the greyhound racing community rallied behind the community of Gippsland.
The bushfires were in the area. They'd been here for a couple of days. It was quite horrific with the amount of smoke. We had gum leaves, bark falling out of the sky that was all scorched.
We had a brood bitch with 8 little pups. We brought them into our backyard so they were close to us. And the dogs in the shed, I felt that we could put sprinklers on and protect our dog shed. That was the main thing. I didn't care about the house as long as my dogs and dog shed was safe.
As the day progressed, we had concerns from the GRV, just letting us know that the Sale Greyhound Club had their kennels vacant. If we needed to evacuate, don't hesitate, just head.
New Year's Eve event, which is our second biggest meeting of the year, we cancelled that. Dogs were more important than anything else, so we had no hesitation shutting down the meeting.
It's hard to describe how eerie it is when it's sort of semi-dark. It's dark, but then you got the glow from the fire through the smoke and the eeriness. It's just, it's very unnerving.
That evening, we had a fire flare up 800 metres from us from a spot fire. It was a bit scary at that time because I walked out the back door of the house and said, "Joy, we're in trouble, we've got a fire in our backyard." As soon as that happened, we said, okay, there's going to be more spot fires, we need to get out of this. So the big job of packing up dogs, all their equipment, and away we went.
There was very much sense of community. All our local greyhounds here, we kept trainers all kept in touch about, what we were all doing, all helping each other. When we got to Sale Club, there was lots of people there camping on the track. We basically had all the dogs in the race kennels. Our car was parked around the side of the kennels and we were sleeping in the back of the car.
All the kennels were full with domestic dogs and greyhounds as well. We actually made some little play areas for the pups. They escaped onto the track, so we had children and adults chasing those little pups everywhere, so it was a gorgeous sight, it was.
Me pups had to run around Sale at 4 months of age, not very many get to do that.
2,000 people here on Australia Day, so this year we turned it into a fundraiser. We managed, with the help of all 13 clubs around the state, to raise $42,000, which we donated locally.
While we're at Sale, the uncertainty of knowing what was happening in our area, that was the hard, concerning part, not knowing whether your house was going to be still there when you got home. The relief to come home and come up the road and see your house still standing there was just, wow, okay, we've got a home.
We are very grateful that our home and our greyhounds and lots of the community were okay on our return.
Gee, isn't that absolutely beautiful? And a reminder, I guess, in many ways of how lucky we are. Despite 2020 being a challenging year, there's a great example that it could have been a whole lot worse for so many people, and a great example of how the greyhound racing community is exactly that. One big community and one big family. Stick around, we've got plenty more to come here on Thrill of the Chase. Molly's Lounge is up next. Thanks Thanks for being with us this morning on Thrill of the Chase. Still to come, plenty more from Rob Popplestone in Gippsland. We'll take a look at what's coming up for the futures with Trent Langscale from TAB as well. And a bit of pressure on us in our last show of the year to nail our best bets. That's not too far away. But let's get to Molly's Lounge for a very, very special edition. Molly, morning to you again.
Thank you very much, Jack. Now, I believe we've had a bit of a stud, I suppose, theme to the last couple of shows. I'm here with Kaylah Azzopardi. We know her father, Anthony, but I believe Kaylah's actually the brains behind the operation, and a very special guest in Raw Ability. Kaylah, welcome to Molly's Lounge.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first of all, tell me a little bit about Raw Ability. What was his favourite win of yours?
It would have to be the Adelaide Cup because of it was such a great field, and he just did so well to win.
Absolutely. He's a stud dog, so he's got little raw abilities running around everywhere. Yes. Do you enjoy watching his pups grow up?
Yes, it's actually quite, it makes me so proud because you just see his little offsprings running everywhere, and they're doing so well on the tracks too.
Now, Kaylah, you're our next generation greyhound trainer, so we know Anthony is phenomenal at what he does. But Kaylah, why do you want to be involved in the dogs and be our next generation trainer?
Because this industry is it's such a great industry. I love seeing dogs run because that's what they love to do. And, I just love seeing them run around. I love working with them. I love seeing them mature into their own dog and see them run really big races. Just such a privilege to see them in those big races. And when I see dogs in big races, I just can't wait to go to the track.
Absolutely. You actually remind me of myself when I was younger and the enthusiasm. I wish I had the same amount now. But Kaylah, you're 14, almost 15 years old, which means you get your handler's licence. So you're actually able to handle these beautiful dogs on race day. When's your first call up and do you know who it'll be?
We're not quite sure when yet because Dad's got a few things to organise still, and obviously I've passed my test, which is very exciting. But I was very nervous when I actually went to go there. When I went to the track, I was shaking, and then I did everything they told me to do, and they just said, "Yep, you passed." And I was like, "Oh my God!" I was very excited, and yeah.
Now, Kaylah, there are plenty of people who go their entire training careers and handling careers and not get the opportunity to be a part of greyhounds like Raw Ability. You were also a part of Whiskey Riot, who won last year's Melbourne Cup too. Do you pinch yourself at that opportunity?
Oh yeah, last year when it was the Melbourne Cup, you should have, I didn't know who won because I couldn't see, and it was such a shock. When they announced that Whiskey Riot won, I was jumping up and down. It was so exciting.
Now, how do you think your dad will be feeling when he sees you handling a greyhound at the track for the very first time?
Well, see, when we actually went for the test, he was so excited afterwards that I passed, and he said, you should have heard him. He was very excited. He just couldn't believe it, and then he says, "I can't wait he'll be very proud." He said he's already proud of me for getting it, so he'll be at home being like, "That's my daughter."
Oh, well, that is so special. I think people underestimate the bond between father and daughter and what greyhound racing can do for that as well. I have the pleasure of that experience with my father as well too. So, Kaylah, Lordy, thank you so much for your time on Molly's Lounge, and we'll send you back to Jack in the studio.
Thank you very much, Molly. Isn't that superb as well? That bond between father and daughter, as you mentioned, and it just shows that greyhound racing is sport for families and a sport for all, and the Azzopardi name looks like it's going to continue in the training ranks for a long, long time to come. Let's get back to Gippsland and let's get back to Rob Popplestone, who's got another very special guest.
Thanks for that, guys. Well, part of the Gippsland Festival of Racing is seeing some of the most impressive dogs you can think of, alongside some of the most impressive trainers you can see, and I'm here with Steve and Bruce White. Hey, Steve, how you going?
Good, thanks, Rob.
Good time of the year for Gippsland Racing.
Yes, it is. It has been for the last 4 years, and it's been a great initiative by GRB when they first set it out, and we've seen many good dogs come down for the carnivals.
Yeah, and what about this fella here? He's been one of the best.
Yes, he won't be competing in the Gippsland Carnival.
No.
This is Seneca. He's now at stud. He won 3 Group 1s.
Wow.
He's had 62 bitches so far since he's been at stud in the last 8 months. 35 of the bitches have whelped, We've got 225 pups on the ground at the moment, and there's another 27 bitches to whelp. So yeah, he's going really good at stud. We're originally going to bring Power of Oscar over, but we've sent him down to Tasmania for the Hobart 1000.
Good, okay.
And we'll venture down there next week. But
he'll be back?
Yeah, he'll be back for the Warragul Cup.
Okay.
But we thought we'd bring Seneca, commonly known as Sealy, his kennel name,
yep,
out to the winery and experience some of the wines out here.
Yeah, it's fantastic here at Blue Gables Vineyard, that's for sure. So we've got the Sale Cup, obviously, December the 26th, and then middle of January, Warragul Cup, which you'll be aiming for, followed by the Cranbourne Cup. But it's a really prestigious award, and I think you understand the pressure that comes at this time of the year.
Yeah, no, it's very good for the Gippsland, as I said, to have carnivals like this, and we should, hopefully see some real good greyhounds down here competing in the carnival, especially the Sale Cup, where hopefully the club can get Houdini Boy down here, because he's the #1 star at the moment, and probably Manila Knight, who won the Bold Trease.
So, as I say, this time of year is as exciting as it can get, but for yourself, you relocated, what, 5 years ago from New South Wales? Why the change?
Well, I've always competed down in Victoria when we've had the better class dogs, and we've come down here and taken the Vic's money.
Yeah.
And I was staying with the great Lenny Paul.
Okay, yeah.
And when he decided to retire, well, I decided to come down and buy his property out at Bullen, which is just outside Warragul. And yeah, it's been a great move. We've won plenty of big races down here, so yeah, no, it was a great move.
Okay, Warragul Cup, what are your chances? What are you thinking?
Well, hopefully Power of Oscar stays sound.
Yeah.
He's won 12 out of 18. He holds the track record over the 400 at Warragul. And he had his 460 back the other night, his first run back, and he ran 25.46, I think, which isn't far outside the track record. So that's hence why we've sent him to Tasmania.
Yep.
For their Group 1, and then we'll come back and hopefully he stays sound. Like he has been a bit of an enigma with injuries. He's been off for 9 months out of his career. So yeah.
Exciting times. There you have it, Stephen Bruce White, one of the most respected trainers in Gippsland, competing at one of the most exciting times of the year, the Gippsland Festival of Racing.
Thank you very much, Rob, and there's still plenty more to come from Gippsland. There's still plenty more to come on our show today as well. Trent Langscale from TAB will join us next. We'll go back and take a look at the big winners from Melbourne Cup, and we'll start to take a look forward to the Sale Cup as well. It's Thrill of the Chase. Stick around, plenty more to come. Thanks for being with us on Thrill of the Chase. Our best bets not too far away, and there's a bit on the line for our last edition of Best Bets as well. Best Bets, I'll try that again. Trent Langscale, speaking of Best Bets, joins us from TAB. Trent, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Jack, and it's just been a fabulous show so far, and we've remarked about how fantastic it was. The TAB Melbourne Cup, where you had Hardstyle Rico with the track record and also Manila Knight in the Bold Trees. And we also found out one thing this morning as well, Jack, that in regards to the analyser, if you quote Brian Pantana, 60% of the time, it works every time.
Hey, Trent, take us back to Friday night if you can. Were there, particularly the Melbourne Cup, but other races around it as well, were there some big winners?
There were, particularly for Hardstyle Rico in the TAB Melbourne Cup. We had the market open in late January, and there was one punter in mid-March that they had $500 at $26 on Hardstyle Rico to win, and there was a collect there of $13,000. Also, a couple of weeks before the heats, a bet of $1,000 at 17. That punter collected $17,000 when Hardstyle Rico was victorious on Friday night. In the Bold Trees, Manila Knight wasn't actually in the market pre-noms. It was a bit of a surprise, but there was one punter that had 100 each way at 51 the win, 13.50 the place on Sir Truculent. They did get a profit with Sir Truculent running second, but it could have been a little bit more sweeter if Sir Truculent had have won the Bold Trees.
Right, let's jump ahead to what's coming up next, which is the Sale Cup. Still a little bit of time before we get to it. What does the early market look like before pre-noms or around pre-noms?
This market at the moment is open with pre-nominations. If you do back a runner and they don't get to the heats, your bet would be refunded. Houdini Boy, who was so brave in the Bold Trees, is the $4 favourite. You've got plenty that we saw on Friday night in action there. You've got Christo Bale along with Sunset Burbsky at $8. Tornado Tears, Batman, Peter Duncan will be happy there at the $12 mark. Plenty of other chances, and who knows, you might be able to snag one at the moment at a big price.
Last hurrah around the $12 mark, I reckon, might be one to keep safe as well. Trent, thank you very much. We'll come back with our best bets on the other side of this, and we'll wrap it up. It's Thrill of the Chase.
going to Sandown Park today. Race 8, number 3, Better Watch Out.
Well, I thought we'd try and make this a little more interesting then, because I'm race 8, number 1, Sovereign Win. Do you have a little bottle of wine or something on this one, Trent?
I have to have some sort of side wager, absolutely.
Trent, you're not going to take me on again, are you, surely?
Well, I'm going to race 6 at Sandown Park today, number 8, Don't Argue Love.
So let's see if we can make this 2 from 2. I'm with Pair of Nines, had a nice win at Bendigo recently, and I reckon the Sharp Kennel might just get the job done. Do we double or nothing?
Why not?
Good. 2 cherry ripes coming my way.
Pair of Nines, drawing away, bit of luck early, luck's a fortune for some.
He'll never learn. He will never, ever learn, Trent Langscale. Not once, twice you took me on, and unfortunately, both times you came up short.
The happy thing, Jack, is I am bearing gifts. Here they are.
Bring 'em.
They are for you.
Bring 'em.
Here you go. You've done too well. Thank you very much.
Look at this.
Taking me to the absolute cleaners.
The sweet smell of success. To my 4-year-old watching, no, you can't have these. These are all mine as well. This is our last edition for 2020. So let's jump into our last edition of Best Bets. James, you always get the new ball, so you can have it again today.
Yeah, that's it. I'll hit this one for 6. I'm going to go race 1, number 1. Again, it's a shorty. I know I've been pretty ordinary tipping short favourites on the show thus far, but hey, if they're winning 99% of the time, we're okay. I'm going race 1, number 1 at Sandown Park, Beat Test Baron. I'm tipping it to win. I think it'll Quinella with number 2, Wakahoro. And I think we should play the trifecta, which is 1, 2, 7, and then the first 4.
Oh,
1, 2,
hello.
7, 4. So this is, I'm not just bringing one thing to the dance floor. I'm doing a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of ballet, and I think I can tip plenty of winners in race number 1.
Very, very exotic. Molly?
I'm going quite simple. I'm going to Sandown Park as well. Race 2, box 5, Big Wins. I really did like this greyhound's last start, and although I haven't had the best luck in the last couple of selections I've handed out, hopefully this one will come across the line for us.
Trent, you're not going to do it again, are you?
Giving up, Jack.
Play somewhere
Giving
else
up.
today, please. Don't go to Sandown.
I am not venturing to Sandown Park. I'm hoping that lightning can strike twice. Last year, Weblek Eagle won this race and won the Sale Cup. I'm hoping that in race 8, number 6, Razor's Edge will do the job. We'll be short around about the $1.50, the $1.60 mark. I've just given up with you, Jack. I'm going to throw in the figure of towel. You've got your cherry right. Razor's Edge, hopefully we'll get the job done in race 8 tonight at Sale.
I'm going to be very modest here, but these 2 cherry ripes are going to go down really well. I'm going race 5, number 2 at Sandown today. Kenny the Brute, I think can go really, really fast, this greyhound. Drawn box 2, draws nicely as well, James. So you'll be calling at Sandown today. Look for Kenny the Brute jumping out of box 2.
And trust you, mate, to be tipping a greyhound with the name Brute in it as well. You spend 99% of time in the gym and 1% of time on show. But no, look, it's a good meeting today at Sandown. A couple of strong greyhounds. And like Trent said, that meeting tonight at Sale, the Sale Cup Prelude, which is race number 8. Winner of the Sale Cup last year won this race, so we could just be getting a little bit of a taste as to what's to come in the weeks ahead.
So as I mentioned, this is the last episode for 2020. We'll tell you when we're coming up next, which will be early in 2021 soon. But how do we look back on 2020 as a year? For me, James and Molly and Trent, I think it's a remarkable year that we were able to race all the way through, uninterrupted through COVID, and then in many ways have this beautiful emphasis point that was the Melbourne Cup.
I agree. I think credit has to be given to Greyhound Racing Victoria. I think the hierarchy, the team there did an extraordinary job to keep the wheels spinning throughout the year, and not just the wheels spinning, but spinning successfully and spinning safely as well. I think that was the key. The patrons, the trainers, the owners, the breeders, they've been so nimble throughout the year. They've been told new rules, they've been told new regulations, they've abided by them 110%. I'm proud to say I'm part of the greyhound racing community, and we've got through this at this point in time. We'll continue to get through it, and just very, very proud to be a part of it.
Well, we've got some big thank yous to share as well, because as I say, it is our final show of 2020. Start with our panel, to Molly, to James, to Trent, to Jason Bonington, who's been part of our coverage as well. Well done to each and every one of you. To the industry, the participants and the guests, many who volunteer their time and come into Molly's Lounge or do the crosses like we've had with Rob Popplestone this morning. To TAB, great supporters of this show, and Trent, thank you very much for your involvement. To the team at Greyhound Racing Victoria, to Alan Clayton, to Peter Duncan and to Lou Martin for their ongoing support and belief in this project and this show that is Thrill of the Chase. And of course, to our little mate Molly Haynes, the legendary Molly Haynes, who's got so many exciting things coming up for the future. Molly, we wish you all the best with upcoming birth of your first child to you and James. We don't know if you're going to be here with us next year, but we love having you a part of the show.
Oh, well, thank you very much, guys. Look, I'm matching with my outfit as well, so you guys did very well, and you certainly caught me off guard. But no, thank you very much. Look, hopefully I'm still around, and maybe even just floating in the background. Maybe that's what I can do there.
Well, you've been an unbelievable supporter of this show. Not only what you do on the camera, but behind the scenes during the weeks with the content and the guests and all that sort of stuff. You've got an exciting new challenge coming up, so we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
And a big thanks to all of you for joining us as well. And again, your ongoing support of Thrill of the Chase. We will be back early in 2021. Until then, stay safe. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to catching you next time here on Thrill of the Chase.